Hello. Thank you for joining us to review group decision-making in student organizations. In this lesson, we'll focus on the group process and decision-making that happens during a meeting or other group activity. We will be identifying the most effective way to work as part of a group. By the time we are through, you will have developed the ability to choose which decision-making style fits your organization the best, and learn more about the consensus approach for decision-making. Student organization members and leaders are constantly making decisions, large and small, that affect the group. Decision-making can be stressful if you view it as potential for unresolved conflict. For example, some people see it as a form of power struggle. Some people cannot bear the idea of losing an argument, and some people simply do not like to make decisions. Decisions, however, are an important part of group life and can't be avoided. Effective student organizations must find a way for decisions to be made that fit with the leadership style and mission of the group. There are several types of group decisions. Unilateral decision-making is a decision made by one person, often the nominal leader, without consultation with other group members. At times, it can be appropriate. For example, a minor decision that needs to be made right away. However, if it is repeated and inappropriate, this type of decision can carry a very low group commitment. Hand clasps are decisions made by two members. One suggests, the other endorses, and carries it through without adequate discussion or group consideration. This type of decision-making has high commitment for the two who made it, but generally not for the others. Clique decision-making is similar to the hand clasp, but with more people involved. This type usually occurs when a close subgroup decides what is good for the rest of the group. Repeated clique decisions cause splintering of the group and low commitment. Majority rule is a popular way of making decisions. Groups may decide to use Robert's Rules of Order to structure their conversations, which is a highly structured process most commonly used in governmental groups. Depending on the group and the communication styles, this may be the most effective way to make important decisions. An issue arises, however, when the majority rule is used in a way that creates a competitive dynamic. The competition arises when the group is being asked to choose between two or more possibilities in an environment where it is just as acceptable to attack another's point of view as it is to endorse your own. People may feel ownership over an idea and defend themselves rather than focus on the good of the group. The final way that a group can make a decision is through a consensus process. When using a consensus process, each person is asked to make the best possible decision for the group and the mission. Rather than choosing between multiple proposals, only one proposal is considered at a time. Any concerns are raised and resolved until all voices are heard. A vote may still be called, but there should be no surprises if all voices were heard. Everyone will agree that under the circumstances, which may not be ideal, the decision made is a fair and workable one that they can live with and support. Now, you may be able to think of and classify other types of decisions. Any type may prove effective under a given set of circumstances. No matter what type of decision-making you choose, it is important to remember how decision-making in your group supports morale and commitment. Since the consensus approach is the type of decision-making we are most commonly asked to train on, we will go over this one in more depth. There are many assets of the group consensus approach. The primary ones include a greater sum total of knowledge and information, a greater number of approaches to a problem and therefore potential solutions. Participation in problem solving increases acceptance. In fact, a lower quality solution that has wide acceptance can be more effective than a higher quality solution that lacks it. Better comprehension of the decision, as the chances for communication failures are greatly reduced when the individuals who must work together in executing the decision have participated in making it. And a greater commitment of the members to the decision. Unfortunately, as with most things, there are liabilities of the group consensus approach as well. Social pressure is one such liability. Minority opinions in groups can have little influence on the solution reached, even when these opinions may be just as relevant and beneficial to the majority opinion, or even more so. Reaching agreement in a group often is confused with finding the right answer. Another negative is individual domination, where skilled manipulators or dominant individuals can emerge and capture more than their share of influence on the outcome. A conflicting secondary goal is also a potential drawback. People may aim at winning the argument at the cost of finding the best answer. There's a certain amount of risk involved as well, as there's the potential that people not getting their own way can prevent other people from fully participating in the discussion. Finally, there is the liability of time. Listening and considering all points of view in order to arrive at the best solution can take a lot of time. Which way the pendulum swings, whether it's more on the positive or on the negative side, is influenced by the group's leadership. Let's talk about some ways in which you, as a group leader, can shape the meeting's flow and outcome. Several factors can be either liabilities or assets depending on the skills of the discussion leaders. These factors include disagreement, conflict between interests, time, and power structure. Disagreement can serve either to create hard feelings among members or lead to resolution of conflict and an innovative solution. Often there are conflicting individual interests and mutual interests. Yet, how the group and its members manifest the organization's mission can vary, and it is up to the leaders of the group to ensure that there is a happy medium between individual creativity and the group's purpose. Another potential factor that can be either detrimental or positive is the time needed to reach a group consensus. When you have a group of people who lead very busy lives that come together, you must be sensitive to their time commitments. The group consensus process can take valuable group time, and an effective leader will learn how to balance the time needed for the group process to happen against the length of time that members agreed to be at the meeting. Lastly, each person needs to be mindful of the dynamics they are bringing to the group. If you are one of the people with the greatest influence or someone who tends to change their opinions to avoid conflict, you may be reinforcing the structures and stifle authentic conversation. Understanding the advantages and possible problems of the group consensus approach, you are encouraged to use this method to make decisions whenever possible. An operational way of defining a consensus decision is where every member of the group can say, "Well, that may not be exactly how I would have done it, but I can live with it and support it." Within this group consensus approach, the group leader has a very specific role with unique responsibilities. This approach to group decision-making places the leader in a particular role in which he or she must cease to contribute so as not to influence other people's decisions, avoid evaluation, and refrain from thinking about solutions or group products. Instead, the leader must concentrate on the group process by assuming responsibility for accurate communication between members. The way decisions are made testify to the degree of effectiveness of a group. Now let's look at the guidelines that you can follow to help your organization use the group consensus approach effectively. Effectiveness in communication is of paramount importance in the consensus decision-making process. You can enhance your group communication by paying attention to the following do's and don'ts. Do. Listen not only to the words, but to the rationale being offered. Do. Pursue your point and be persistent if you have good information. Do. Manage your time effectively relative to the number of decisions that are being made. Do. Involve all team members to ensure use of their knowledge and experience. Do. Strive for the best answer. Thinking in cause and effect terms avoids dealing only with symptoms. Don't. Argue for the sake of winning your point. You may learn something by remaining open-minded. Don't. Give up on your conclusions simply to avoid conflict. Let objective reasons or sound information prevail. Don't. Allow the group to get hung up on a specific item. Move on and come back later. Don't. Compete by assuming that someone must win and someone must lose. look for the best alternative. Thank you for taking the time to watch this tutorial. Please make sure to look over the attached links and documents and to review all the information thoroughly.